passage of the Genius Act and related crypto legislation during Crypto Week has already delivered immediate market validation, with the global crypto market capitalization hitting $4 trillion for the first time ever. Now, retirement-focused crypto platforms are experiencing unprecedented opportunity as the Trump administration eliminates regulatory barriers to crypto and 401k plans. Now, Bitcoin IRA, which already serves hundreds of thousands of Americans seeking to diversify their retirement portfolios with cryptocurrencies, is positioned to capture a massive market share with all these changes. And with me is Kline, the COO and co-founder of Bitcoin IRA. So for those new to the space, and I know people are really starting to get very curious about it, but still a little scared about all this. I mean, tell us what Bitcoin IRA is, how it's helping Americans diversify their retirement portfolio.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me here. At the end of the day, our mission is to help more Americans retire. We're sitting at this crossroads of a retirement crisis in America for all generations. Whether you're just about to hit retirement, are you sure that your retirement dollars are going to last as long as you do with rising cost inflation? Northwest Mutual just came out with a great piece where in just 4 short years, it went from a comfortable retirement is $500,000 to now $1.8 million. Which is really terrifying for anybody. And then you've got a whole new generation that hasn't even thought about retirement. So what we tried to do was, it's not your grandfather's economy. You can't just go buy stocks, bonds, mutual funds, make dividends for 40 years. You really need to think outside the box and alternatives. And this is a cutting edge opportunity to take a piece of your IRA 401k and put it directly into Bitcoin. And we have over 80 other cryptocurrencies available.
Okay. So, and I mentioned Crypto Week, which was kind of a pivotal time for the industry and really laid the groundwork, I think, for people to, invest in products like yours. So, I mean, talk about that. What does that mean for companies like Bitcoin IRA?
Well, for anybody that's been in the crypto space for the last decade or so, it was a moment in time where you realized the validation of the institutions and the regulatory clarity we were looking for. But interestingly enough, it didn't go off with there wasn't some celebration of fireworks in the air, right? It's not like Fleet Week here in New York where there's Navy guys everywhere, and it was more of a quiet thing happening in the legislation that will have profound impacts over the next few years, because now what you have the guardrails, that the clarity that institutions were demanding. And what will come next is that I've been in a lot of rooms with bankers and board meetings over the last couple of weeks. Everybody's exploring stablecoins, real world asset tokenization, and then just the Bitcoin treasuries, Ethereum treasuries. This is the new wave. And what will come in about, I would say, September, October is when you're going to start seeing that retail tidal wave come as a result of everything that's happening now.
So, and yeah, there has been so much, I feel like, happened with crypto just in general, with all these things. What would you say to individual savers that's a good way to get started in something like this?
Well, get off zero is first. Experience Bitcoin. So even if that means going to an exchange, one of the most reputable out there is like Coinbase or Kraken, and just set up an account, go through the KYC, add your funds. You can link a bank account and just buy it and experience and see what it feels like. And if you can, which is pretty hard in the U.S. today, but if you happen to be in El Salvador or some other countries, you can actually spend it or use it for goods and services. See how the transaction takes place. That way you're just getting off zero. If you're looking you've got your annual contributions every year, right? And you don't have to wait until April to do that. You can open up an account and fund it and contribute it with us over at Bitcoin IRA. The reason why I love IRA savings for crypto is I'm a big believer. I'm a little biased, but if Bitcoin is go-to, I'm calling for 180 this year. Some are calling for $1 million in the next couple of years per Bitcoin. What better place than a tax advantaged or tax deferred setting to have that kind of asset class? Plus, who knows what's going to happen with fiat currency? That's my biggest fear for the next generation and for right now is what is going to happen with fiat currency over the next 20 to 30 years. We just keep printing and printing and printing. And there's a day where the rooster comes home to roost.
Yeah. Can somebody just go to your website and set up an account?
Yeah.
I mean, is it that easy?
It's that easy. But we also offer real crypto, real people. So instead of just being able to go to an app and download it, you can download the app on the iPhone or the Android. You can also go to bitcoinira.com and open up an account. Matter of a few minutes. It's very straightforward, but we have real people. We never got rid of the analog. So we have a team of we call them VPs of Retirement Solutions, and they're executives that help them, and they get on the phone because retirement's not a one-size-fits-all strategy. Everybody's got something different, so they'll be able to guide you through and shepherd you through the process of funding, and then thereby trading those.
Oh, I love that, because I feel like some of these crypto things are so technical. It's like you never talk to a human. You just kind of,
it's robots.
You Google it, figure it out how to do it. And I guess it still applies to all the same, tax
All the same rules, yeah.
Rules that you have a
It's
stock.
still an IRA or a Roth, traditional, SEP, or simple. All those are available. It's just the asset class that you can invest in is different.
Got it. Now, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent recently said that stable coins could reach 3.7 trillion in value by 2030. And we had Circle IPO here, and there's just been a lot in that. Why do you think that stable coins has been the one kind of breakthrough crypto that's people feel comfortable
Stable
with?
coins are, I think, they're the rails that we need for this marriage of traditional and digital finance. It's that intersection where they need to exist so that you can pair between a stock somewhere and settle the liquidity of a stock somewhere on the NYSE versus a cryptocurrency from CoinMarketCap or on Kraken or Coinbase. That's the marriage point. Also, the bankers are really excited about this. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of competition around who's got the best stable coin moving forward. Now, the bill for it, the Genius Act, made it very clear you cannot offer yield and interest bearing on these things, which I think is a really powerful decision by our legislators. This is what got the crypto space and the stable coins in trouble in 22 and 23 with, Alameda, Luna, and those, they lost their ping because they were over leveraged. They were basically rehypothecating. This will make it so it's a very stable, and probably maybe more stable than the U.S. dollar at the end of the day. And then that helps institutions. So you've got these rails that allow for settlement and liquidity issues to be solved. But for the consumer, imagine a future where in an e-commerce transaction where you're buying something online and you don't have the merchant services provider or the credit card processor in the middle because you're using stablecoin to make that transaction. Businesses that are doing e-commerce now have stablecoins in treasury, which they can easily put into treasury of crypto or other assets. It's this perfect conduit for where the future might go, and they're very, very critical kind of infrastructure for the future of digital finance.
Now, we've talked about IRAs. What about 401ks? Do you do that as well? Or
401ks are employee-sponsored plans, and we do have tools available for businesses that want to offer more forward thinking, which I think might be a piece of the, attracting high-end talent out there is, good benefits and the ability to put crypto into your 401k. The 2 years ago, 21, President Biden came out with an executive order of that we need all three-letter agencies needed to revisit the regulation of crypto. And then 2 days later, the Department of Labor came out and said, no go on 401ks. You should not offer this in 401ks. Fast forward the 2 years to where we are today in 25, and President Trump has said, no, we should untap $9 trillion of our 401k funds long term. Really, this administration and this Congress is telling Americans, bet on Bitcoin, bet on gold, bet on alternatives. And so, I think that's huge. You'll see more folks that are adding that beyond just the ETFs that are available, there's ETFs, but then there's also direct investment into cryptocurrency, which is great for down the road that you can actually distribute it as crypto instead of having to liquidate it to dollars and take those dollars out.
And you offer 75 different cryptocurrencies. 80 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It changes every day.
I assume the big ones, Bitcoin, Ethereum. I mean, how did you pick those? How do you help advise people on how to kind of...
What we listen to our clients first. So when we first started Why We're Bitcoin IRA is that was the only one around in 2016 when we launched the business. We launched Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin later in 2017. And just fun fact, the first Ethereum we put in an IRA was only $40. At the time, and the price point for our first Bitcoin was $250. So you can imagine how thrilled those long-term hodlers are. And then really it comes from the clients. They will tell us, hey, we're looking for these coins. You watch a few things. You watch the security of the coin. Is it available on major exchanges? You don't have to go down the rabbit hole to find it. Is it in the top 100 of the market cap? What's its 24-hour trading volume look like? And does it have any issues with regulators? That's been a big thing. Have they been following the rules of being a true crypto and not being a security, like kind of in another piece of clothing? And so that's a big thing for us, how we do it. And then it has to fit into our security parameters. So we have what we call the Pentagon of custody. We use exclusive wallets with BitGo with up to $250 million of insurance. And then we have these rings of protection to help clients protect themselves from themselves. You are your greatest link. You're the only weakest link where you can get SIM swapped, email hacked, those types of things. Everything sits as a middleware between the wallet and the client making transactions, allowing it so that you don't have to worry about somebody waking up one day and somebody's emptied out your Bitcoin retirement account.
No, definitely scary. Now, you mentioned 180,000 is your target in 2025 for Bitcoin. So what do you think drives us there? We're about 118,000 today, as we said. What do you think it's to 180?
Well, when I made that prediction was at 76 in April, so I'm already well on my way. I even seem crazier in April, I'm sure. What drives it for me is obviously I knew that this crypto week was coming, this legislation was coming, and given the current environment in DC, it felt pretty confident it would be there. Now, what comes of that? Now we're past the speculation of regulation. Now we're in the execution of it, and institutions are going to come in strong beyond just the ETF, but the stablecoin interest in those things. And then there's this thing that happens in all crypto cycles, which is the retail wave of mania that hits. And I've seen it. I saw it in 17 and 18, saw it in 20 and 21. And this will just be another one of those cycles. We haven't hit the numbers yet to really wake that up. You would think 100 plus, but we've been here before. And there's still plenty. We're at 3 to 5% adoption of Americans. JD Vance says in May at the Bitcoin conference, 100 million Americans will have Bitcoin by the end of the decade. It's going to take a while for us to get there. But what drives people are two things: fear and greed. There's a lot less greed in the crypto space, or fear in the crypto space right now, but there will be that greed index will kick in as you start seeing 125, 130 reaching those levels. Now, it's not going to be a straight line to 180. It's going to be volatile. There's going to be a lot of movements to it. Price discovery is a very interesting space to be in crypto. There will be up days of 10% and then 15, and then there'll be an alt season that comes in late September, October, where people will take profits and start driving into Ethereum, XRP, Link, Solana, and you'll see those run. And usually what happens is people will take profits off of those and roll them back into Bitcoin. So there's this kind of this flywheel that happens between the two sides of the crypto space. A little bit of that mania, a couple of things happening in DC, and a few institutions making some big announcements. 180, I think, is a very conservative move for this year.
Okay. And Ethereum has gotten a lot of attention. It kind of was like doing nothing for a while, but then all of a sudden has gotten
it was down
attention.
At 1,200 in April. And now knocking on 4,000.
So, and people are looking at smart contracts and all the different applications for Ethereum. What do you think of Ethereum?
I'm a big fan of Ethereum. I think that it's the infrastructure for the digital revolution, like Web 3, Web 4, Web 5. If we could buy shares of the internet back in the 90s, we would have, if we would have known where we were headed. And this is that kind of underbelly infrastructure. What I love about Ethereum and other projects that are proof of stake is that as investors, we can stake our claim in the network. So we can take our Ethereum and we can stake it through what's called a facilitator or on a node. And then you're basically committing your Ethereum to help verify transactions on the network. So it's really a community-driven thing, and you get rewarded in more Ethereum for that, which this is a tool that I think is really powerful. If you think about banks, 70s, 80s, 90s, we deposit funds, they give us a piece of the interest, and then the thought was invest in a local community bank so that those dollars are going to local businesses to grow your community. Bigger picture here, you're putting your Ethereum on the stake of the network so that you're building better blockchains. And Solana and others are like that. Now, Ethereum does not have no competition. Solana is a very strong competitor to the space. It's very interesting. You get these kind of armies behind certain coins. So like XRP, which may either augment or replace Swift. There's a lot of conversations about that happening right now across the globe. That has a huge army of followers. I'm also an XRP investor. I'm not maybe a member of the army, but there's this kind of cultural narrative that kicks in for some of these coins as well. But there's so many exciting projects. You can go down the rabbit hole for hours, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, it's a fascinating space and quickly changing, and it feels revolutionary in some ways. So, Chris, thank you so much for coming in and explaining.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.